Hi friends, welcome to the apothecary today. Today I'm going to share with you the process of straining my first batch of mugwort oil, which I am very excited about because I've never really worked with mugwort before. I have burned it like sage. I think I've smoked a little bit of it in an herbal smoking blend before. I know it is something that tends to get smoked. And so today I have my first batch of the oil going, and I'm going to strain it, talk a little bit about mugwort, why you would want to use it, and yeah, just show you the process. So I also wanted to show you the dried mugwort. So this is what the dried plant looks like. I got this from Mountain Rose Herbs. It's sort of like fluffy texture on the inside in the bag, which is interesting. It made it really gooey for blending with the oils, so I'm interested to see how the decanting process will go. But before I do that, I just want to share a little bit about the uses and the meanings of mugwort. So I'm going to share from my book, what's it called? Modern Witchcraft Guide to Magical Herbs. I really love this book because it talks not only about the medicinal properties of the plant, but it also talks about the magical properties. I wish it had a little bit more of the medicinal, but I have other books and Google for that. So I am going to just share what it says in here about mugwort. So it's also known as cronewort. Artemisia vulgaris is thought to have been brought to North America in the 16th century. Mugwort is distinct because of its finger-like dark green leaves that display a silvery, almost woolen texture on the other underside. That makes sense because, as I said, this in the dried form is very fluffy, almost like you have wool. You're working with wool. So like blending this was quite an interesting experience. I'm excited to get my hands into it. Okay, so it's named for the Greek goddess Artemis because it's Artemisia vulgaris, the maiden goddess of the hunt. The silvery leaves of mugwort have proved to be a potent source of magic and healing. Mugwort grows in profuse proliferation and reminds us of our wild nature as well as our connection to the moon. Mugwort is known to awaken the psychic eye, aid in dream work, and alleviate menstrual discomfort. I have some mugwort and yarrow oil from mythicmedicine.love. And I put that on my belly when I'm bleeding and, going through my cycle, and it really helps with the cramps. Low belly and low back, actually. So the other thing that I know about mugwort that one of my teachers, Cami McBride, shared with me is that mugwort is like a carrier medicine. So whatever you put it with, it will help that medicine go deeper. So I'm really excited about using this with my herbal oils and stuff so that topically I can use it to help the medicine penetrate even more into the body. For me, any medicine that helps other medicine go deeper, that's a winner. So, okay, so let's get started on the straining. So I like to get a jar with a little funnel, just place that funnel on top. And then what I use to strain, and you're gonna have to bear with me, I have a little bit of an injury on my right wrist, so I have to go very light with my right hand, but what I use to strain are these nut milk bags. They're just made, I think, of like nylon fiber, really thin knit, and I just got mine on Amazon. They clean really well. I've been able to use them multiple times. Better I've found than cheesecloth, which is kind of messy and all over the place and hard to work with. And I know muslin you have to throw out after a couple uses. So I like these because I don't have to throw them away. They work really well. They clean really well. So here we go. So I'm just going to place this nut milk bag. So, wow, I don't know if you can see that, but it is very gooey. Yeah. Ooh. Okay, so I'm just going to pour the oil in here and then strain out the plant matter. Oh, it's like a huge blob all coming out together. Okay, I do have sensitive wrist still, but I think I'm gonna use this chopstick. Oh my gosh, can you see how it's like a blob? Yeah, one huge blob. coming all down together. It's crazy how all the different oils, all the different herbs just combine with oil in such a different way. The other thing is I also used olive oil, which I don't typically do. Typically I use jojoba oil because I like it better. I like the smell of it. But it's quite expensive. It's about $1 an ounce more than olive oil, and I'm just gonna save the jojoba oil for the blends that I put directly on my face or like my arms. This is like something that I'm going to dilute and add to other stuff, so I don't need it to be jojoba oil. And olive oil is still great. This is organic, it's cold pressed, it's clean, it's all the things. So I still feel really good about it. If I'm going to use the entirety of something, like if I'm not going to dilute it with something else, I don't want it to smell like olive oil. But if I'm just going to put an ounce or so of this into something else that's mostly jojoba, then I'm not going to smell the olive. So that's fine with me. I just don't like smelling like food. You know what I mean? I don't want to smell like Italian food when I'm like walking out around in my life. So anyways, you can see this is straining nicely. Wow, that looks beautiful. My favorite is when you have like really nice color in the oil. That's when you know you got the good stuff in there. So the cool thing about this is you can make these herbal infused oils with medicinal herbs, but you can also use it with kitchen herbs. So if you haven't seen my rosemary oil video, check that out. I'll link that in the description, and you can make these herbal infused oils for cooking, and it is just such an amazing way to bump up not just the taste but the medicinal value of your food. And oh my god, the rosemary oil, I did a plain rosemary, and then I did a sage, rosemary, and thyme in olive oil that I would drizzle over like pizza, bread, pasta. Oh my gosh, so freaking good. You can use it for salad dressings, sauces. I mean, basically the options are just all over the place. Let's see how it's green all over my hand. Great color. Oil is definitely a messy thing to play with, so have your paper towels handy or your rags handy. I'm just gonna try to get as much of the oil out of this as I can, and then when I feel like it's mostly done, I'm just going to take out all the dry to make room for the next batch. So you can see here, I just squeezed out the dry that was left in there, and then made for a clean bag, and then I'm just gonna add my next round, because typically you don't want to put the whole thing in there at once. That would just be crazy, and you'd have oil going everywhere. Oh, look at that color. It's like black. So good. So what I'll do is I'll mix this oil with other herbal oils that I'm using for healing. Like right now I'm using St. John's wort and arnica on my wrist because there's still a pretty big bruise on my wrist over here. And I'm using St. John's wort for a numb spot on my leg from the scooter accident that I was in. So this will help those herbs go even deeper into the healing areas. So I'm pretty excited about that. So I'm curious for you, like, what about this is fun for you? What is it that you like? Is it like the creative part? Is it the medicine making part? Is it the alchemy? Like, I think it's all of them for me. You know, part of it is playing with the herbs and getting connected to like my ancient roots, basically. Like all our ancestors made medicine from herbs, from the plants before we had Western medicine, pharmaceuticals, all the things. That's how most of humanity has made medicine is with the plants, you know, the indigenous plants. So there's something about that that's really fun for me. There's something that's also really fun about like taking something and turning it into something else, right? That's what I mean by alchemy, is like, you know, turning this herb and this oil into a salve, like taking the ingredients, mixing it together and making it something new. That for me is like just the fun of the alchemy of it, is getting to see what, you know, what this gets created into and seeing the whole transformation in the process. And just like working with your hands. I love working with my hands. There's something so grounding about it. Like it just brings you into the moment, right? Like we spend so much time in our heads worried about the past and the future and ourselves and other people. And it's just like, we need to get more in our hearts. We're so disconnected from the present moment, from each other, from ourselves. And when I do stuff like this, like creating with my hands, it just brings me into the moment. It brings me into the here and now. I'm not thinking about anything else. I'm thinking about what I'm doing because I'm focused. And so I think having something to create and something that's meaningful and something that I can now take and use for my own better health, for the better health of the people that I love, or the people that my clients or whoever it is, people who are buying the salves or getting inspired to make their own salves, like it infinitely, you know, when you're doing what is inspiring you and what you love and you're taking your time to create something that has value in your own life and other people's life, it just feels so good. It feels like such a good use of my time and energy. So I'm curious why you're here. What is it about these videos or the oils or the herbs that really inspires you? And I think when we really actually ask ourselves, take the time to ask ourselves these questions, we can really get to know who we are, and we really get to know what lights us up. And once we know what lights us up, I mean, that's the key to the kingdom right there. I mean, once you know, then you can create your life around doing things that make you feel good, that contribute to you and to others, instead of draining your energy, which is what most people do. So if you're here, then you're probably lucky enough to be, you know, someone in the world who can have that conversation with themselves, like, what do I want to do? And that's a really special, beautiful, privileged place to be. So I just think the world would be a better place if we were all spending more time doing what we loved. And if you can find and understand more of that about yourself by being here, then yay! I think that's pretty awesome. Okay, so I'm gonna just grab. So look at this beautiful oil. It's like so black. Well, thanks for being here with me to decant this beautiful mugwort oil. I'm so excited to mix it in to my herbal body creations and to my salves, and especially the ones that are specifically for healing. You know, some of them are just like, oh, I want my skin to be beautiful and feel good and fresh and look nice. And then some of them are like, oh, I actually have like this thing, like, you know, lower back pain or sciatica, or, you know, a numb spot, or a spot on my body that I want healing, you know, like a gash or a scratch or a burn or something. So when we can, you know, discover the herbs for actually taking care of ourselves and our health, it's pretty freaking cool. So I'm excited to use this mugwort oil to bring into my healing medicines. So thanks for being here. It was fun showing you this, and I would love to hear in the comments what came up for you, if you've worked with mugwort before, if you have questions. I'm not an expert, but I'm happy to just help share what I'm learning, and we can learn together. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you want to get notified when I post new videos. So what you can do is you can subscribe, and then you can hit the bell and have the notifications go on always. And then that means that every time I post a new video, you'll get notified about it, always. So yeah, thanks for being here. Lots of love, friends. Have a gorgeous day. See you soon.